Good morning, my wonderful friends. Thank you for coming back and joining me for today's collage story episode. Before I get into that, I just want to give a little heads up that the coming week may be light on videos again due to circumstances beyond my control. We'll see. I might manage to get an extra one done, but I really honestly don't know at this point. So we'll just crack on and we'll enjoy story time, and yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so today's prompts are from Kimberley, or Kim. Her prompts are magical creature, purple, hexagons, tree or leaf, mushrooms. And the sixth prompt that I've added for today is an inspiring word or phrase. And I drew from my stack of cards with prompts on them. I just drew a card from that, and that's what it was. I do it off camera because I need to prepare my items ahead of time. So yeah, so that's what that is. So let's grab my paper. Fresh page for today. So magical creature. I have this image of a dragon, which is out of an illustrated encyclopedic dictionary. So I wanted a bigger one, but that's what I found, so that's what we're going with. Purple, I have this really cool, it's actually a fabric swatch. I mean, it's an image of a fabric swatch out of a magazine with unicorns on. So that's our something purple. Hexagons. I've got this bee colony image with the honeycomb in the background, which is the hexagons. Tree or leaf, I've got this is a sculpture, metal garden sculpture of a silver fern, and a silver fern is one of the emblems of New Zealand, so I really liked that. I hope you can see it well enough. I think you can. So that's my tree or leaf. Mushrooms, I've got these fantastic mushrooms here cut out of a magazine. And an inspiring word or phrase, I've found this take heart. So that's what I'm running with for that. So let's look at composition. I did not pre-compose. So, but I think it should be relatively straightforward. I want to make sure that we don't cover up our hexagons. Easier said than done sometimes, or something like that maybe. Move it up, move it down, move it sideways. Okay, that's looking okay to me. Our dragon, who is the star of today's story. Just a little, do we want to put it, where do I want to put our dragon? Maybe up there. That would kind of make sense actually. Take heart could go anywhere really, maybe down here. And where's our pocket going to be today? Could I do in behind there maybe? Okay, right, I'm going to go ahead right now and glue the dragon onto the purple, because I don't want to make a mistake and glue all the way up the dragon and then close what is going to be my pocket. So we're going to go about there. Right, now just lay that over top so I don't get glue in the wrong place, and let's straighten it up a little bit like that. Okay, just making sure there's no glue peeping over the edge to stick our pocket closed. Right, so I think that's pretty much on the base layer, so let's glue that on now. I'm going to which way around, maybe that way, got the little 5 sticking up. just so I can envisage, excuse me, a little bit croaky, envisage where the pocket's going to be. This is my second time trying to record this, because the first one I just couldn't get more than 2 words out without burping. It was like, oh my goodness. They were silent burps, but like when you burp, you can't talk. So it's like, I can't continue with the video like this. And now I've kind of gone croaky. It's all fun and games here, I tell you. You get stories, you get collage, you get weird goings-ons. At times. Right, so let's glue that on there, and then just whip out the prompts just in case it decides to get glued in. All right, now our bees next with their honeycomb. It was quite good. I've been working on all my magazine images lately, because I had them all over, I still do have them all over the place, multiple places, and lots of pages I've torn out but hadn't actually cut out what I wanted off the pages. And so I had a big banana box in the middle of our living room, and I just got so sick of it shoving it backwards and forwards to move around, and it's like, I need to deal with this. So I've been working on cutting images out of the pages so I can get rid of what I don't need, and organizing them into bags, not terribly broken down bags at this stage. I've just got people, animals, nature and objects for my big bags, so they could definitely deal with being, you know, broken down into smaller categories. But it's just making such a difference. So I knew I had a bee image, and I thought I had one with the honeycomb in it. So I was really pleased that because I'd been handling those images recently, I was able to fairly quickly put my hands on it. I just had to go to the packet, pull everything out, and then kind of just shuffle through until I found the right image. And I actually had like 3 or 4 ones that would have done, but I chose this one. So there's our silver fern. Now we pop out mushrooms to the side here. It's a bit cut off on one of them, because that's how it was in the magazine. I had to chop around something else, but that's fine. Things in nature aren't very often perfect, you know. So if it's a bit wonky, if it's got some bug-eaten bits out of it, if it's a bit bruised or wind damaged or whatever, you know, things aren't perfect. So in our collages, things don't have to be perfect. They can look real, you know. This is an illustration, but it can still like look imperfect and be quite okay, quite realistic in that sense, because nature is really perfect, and yet it's perfectly beautiful, perfectly fantastic in its imperfect way. Right, I could have actually fussy cut around them a bit better now that I look at it, but it's glued on now, so we'll just move along. I think I want to put that completely on so that it's surrounded. I feel like it just disappears a little bit more. I don't know how bright red disappears, but I just felt it didn't look as good hanging off the bottom. So I feel like we're moving along really nicely on this. Shouldn't take too long for this video. Please do remember to leave me your suggested prompts in the description box below. Not in the description box, in the comment section, for a chance to have your prompts pulled and see what I do with your prompts. I would love to have you participate. Whether you've already given me prompts or whether you've never given me prompts, I would absolutely love if you could leave me 5 prompts and come back and see if they get pulled sometime. Okay, we have got everything down. Just going to check. So we've got our word of phrase, mushrooms, tree or leaf, hexagons, purple, magical creature. Cool, we have everything. So our story time today is about our beautiful dragon here. Now, our beautiful dragon lives in Antarctica, and he comes from a tribe of dragons that are born in Antarctica, and Antarctica is all white. You know, it's snow, ice, it's white. And so all of the dragons are born white, and they live their first several years as white dragons. And so nobody's ever seen them because they just blend with the environment. So, you know, all those scientific teams that go down to Antarctica, they've never seen a dragon down there because they are masters of disguise. But they don't stay white. They have to go on a quest. When they reach a certain age, they are sent out to go on it and fulfill a quest. And so our dear dragon here has reached that age, and it's time for him to head out into the wide world, is what I meant to say, and find his colour. So exciting, but he's a bit nervous too. It's like, is he going to succeed? Will I get my colour? What's my colour going to be? Am I going to like my colour? It's a him, by the way. You might guess by the pronouns I'm using. So he's very nervous. He's like, what if I do fail? Am I doomed to be white forever? Because to gain a colour in this clan of dragons is to come of age, if you like. It's to make it. It's to become an adult, if we were talking in human terms. So it's like, what if I fail my quest? Oh my goodness, what's going to happen? I'll be white forever and I'll just have to stay in Antarctica for the rest of my life. So he's nervous, but he's also excited. So he rocks on up to the ring of dragons to find out what his quest is. And so they give him his quest. It says, young dragon, you are about to embark on a quest to find your colour. You can probably guess what colour he's going to be. But let's skip that. In order to find your colour, you must find 3 things. And they are going to be challenges. They're not going to be easy. So he's like, uh-oh, I don't know if I can do this. And he's quivering inside. It's like, but he remains calm out on the outside. And it's like, okay, listen, let's see what we're up for. And one dragon says, your first thing to find is that you must find a leaf that is not green. And he's like, oh, well, that's easy, isn't it? A leaf that's not green. You know, autumn leaves, there's plenty of leaves around in autumn. And then his heart sank and he realised that down in the southern hemisphere where he is, it's summer. It's not autumn. There's no autumn leaves around. And he's like, oh, I'm sure I'll find something. Let's wait and see what the second thing is. Sorry, just had to blow my nose a moment there. So he's like, okay, what's the second item? So the next dragon says to him, okay, your second item that you must find is you must travel to the hives located, now I didn't think of a location, where are they going to be located? Hawaii, let's say Hawaii. I don't know why, just because. You must travel to Hawaii and collect honey from the hives of bees there. And he's like, oh my gosh, that's such a long way. I've never travelled so far in all my life. That's going to be so tiring. I don't know if I can do this. What if I fall out of the sky? What if they see me because I'm white? You see, part of the challenge is to remain hidden, to test his flying skills, to test his stamina and endurance. So all these things he wasn't appreciating, he was just appreciating the fact that it was a long way and he wasn't sure if he could do that. So he's got to get a leaf that's not green and some honey from Hawaii, taken directly from the beehive. And so he's like, what if I get stung? Oh dear, that could hurt. So he's like, okay, Okay, let's just wait and see what the third thing is. So the third dragon steps forward and says, and your final thing that you must find the giant mushrooms from the Galapagos Islands. And you must collect 6 giant mushrooms. And that's the third thing you must find. He was like, well, okay. Galapagos, again, it's a very long way, and it's in the northern hemisphere. Oh, maybe I can collect a leaf on the way. Oh, and his brain starts popping off with ideas on how he might be able to do that. So he's like, okay, giant mushrooms. And the giant mushrooms is to test his ability to carry things and to fly even further and to fly in a different temperature zone, cross a boundary where he's going from hot to cooler and all these things. So he's got his 3 items to collect. He's like, okay. He was thinking, well, what do I do with these things? And so he says, and what do I do with this leaf that's not green, the honey from the hives in Hawaii, and the giant mushrooms from the Galapagos Islands? He says, what do I do with them once I've got them? And the 4th dragon, leader of the clan, steps forward and says, young dragon, if you are successful in collecting all of these items, you must take them all without delay to the tribe of unicorns that are located in New Zealand. And he's like, oh, okay, that's like halfway home, or more than halfway home. That's okay, New Zealand. He says, but I've never seen a unicorn before. How do I find them? And so they told him, I'm not going to tell you because we don't want to let the secret out. But he told the dragon exactly where in New Zealand he could find the unicorns. And he says, and when you deliver the 3 items that you're required to collect for your quest, the unicorns will give you your colour. And then he began to be excited, and it's like, I believe I can do this. I believe I can do this. And so he's preparing to leave, and his mother is there to see him off, because not all the dragons leave. They need to keep the colony going. So there's a number of dragons that stay in Antarctica to repopulate the species. And his mother comes up to him and says, dear dragon, you can do this. I believe in you. It's your time. And I can't wait to hear what colour the unicorns have given you. It says, take heart, my dear son, take heart. Go forth and collect your items and gain your colour. And with that, she kissed him goodbye and went back to her house, whatever their house looks like. So it's time for our young dragon friend to fly away. So he flies away, and he goes to the furthest away place first. He thinks, right, I'll hit the Galapagos Islands first. And so he goes to the Galapagos Islands and he finds the mushrooms. They were pretty easy to find because they were giant mushrooms. And he was like, oh, I don't know how I'm going to carry them. So he worked out a way. He worked out that he could stab them through his talons. So he could, put his claws, his talons, through the mushrooms, and they were hooked onto him. So he wasn't carrying them. They were kind of like attached to him. So he was happy with that. He got them on, and then he's had a bit of a rest. It's a long way to fly, but he was really happy he made it. So the next day he flew off to Hawaii and found the beehives, and he was very careful not to be seen. He went at night. A white dragon at night, you would think, could be a bit dodgy, but most people were sleeping. So he crept very, very quietly to the beehives and lifted the lid with a wing, just used the tip of his wing to prise up the lid, and the bees were all sleepy and quite happy and just wandering around. Most of them were sleeping, but the odd one was just kind of wandering around, keeping a guard on the queen bee. And he used the tip of his other wing. He was holding up the lid with one wing, and with the tip of his other wing, he went in and he scooped up some of the honeycomb on the tip of his wing. And because it's sticky, it stuck to his wing. And he was like, okay, that's fine. I can carry it there. We're all good. So he went away and he found a quiet little cove on the coastline and a cave. And he had a wee nap for the rest of the night because he thought, you know, I need some rest. I've been traveling a very, very long way. So the next day he went to go out and, oh no, there were people all over the beach. He could not come out of the cave. So he had to stay another night in the another day, and then he fell asleep at night and he forgot. So the next day again there were people. So it was a few days before he managed to come out and leave Hawaii. But in this time he was very well rested. So he's like, right, I've got to fly all the way to New Zealand now. So I was like, okay, you can do this. Take heart. Your mum told you to take heart. I'm going to take heart. I can do this. So he's loaded down now with giant mushrooms and honey stuck to his wing. But he's like, I can do this. My heart is stronger than the weight that I'm carrying. So he takes to the sky that everything's clear. He leaves at night when there's no one around. And he flies to New Zealand. And he was like, I forgot the leaf. Oh no, I'm turning up. I'm going to see the unicorns and I haven't got my leaf yet. Oh my goodness. And he was like, I was in the northern hemisphere. I could have grabbed an autumn leaf and I forgot. But by the time he landed in New Zealand, it was too late. He did not want to fly all the way back to find a leaf that was not green. So he landed in New Zealand. He didn't go straight to the unicorns because he hadn't fulfilled his quest yet. So he found a quiet spot and he curled up and had a bit of a moan and a bit of a whimper and a bit of a poor me, what am I going to do? And he was like that for a little bit. And then he began to grow hungry. And he was like, that honey on his wing looked really enticing. But he thought, no, I still believe I can do this quest. I'm not going to eat the honey. But he couldn't deny he was getting hungrier and hungrier. So he decided he would have to venture out of his safe little spot and find something to eat. And he was in a forest, so he was wandering through the forest very, very carefully at night when in the distance he saw this shining thing like a beacon. It was a full moon night, so it was catching the moonlight and he could see it, so he made a beeline towards it. It's like, what is that? Being very careful in the meantime, because he's like, what if it's a human? I can't be seen. A game over if I'm seen. So he kept going towards it very cautiously, and as he came into a clearing, here was this silver leaf. And his whole face just lit up brighter than our shiny leaf. It's just like, it's a leaf and it's not green. And he was like, hooray! And he quietly said a wee word of thanks to his mother for encouraging him to take heart that he can do this. So he grabbed his leaf and without further delay, forgetting that he was hungry, just in his excitement, he made his way to where the unicorns were. And he arrived in their midst and they were ready for him. They were expecting him. From the moment he is sent out, they are alerted. And so, you know, a dragon might take a day or they might take 10 weeks, but they wait and they talk about what colour the dragon might be. And they don't know until the dragon arrives what colour it's going to be. So he arrives in their midst and he lays out before them the leaf that's not green, the honeycomb, which is in hexagons, and the giant mushrooms, and lays them before the unicorns and says, here are my items, my quest is fulfilled. And the head unicorn steps forward and says, well done, dragon. You have done well. We thank you for your gifts. We appreciate your gifts. They will help our clan, our family, to survive because they're going to eat the mushrooms and the honey. and the leaf will decorate their unicorn village. And so the dragons, yay, yay, thank you so much, thank you, thank you. And inside he's going, when do I find my colour? When do I find my colour? He didn't have to wait long. The head unicorn says, since you have completed your quest, we now bestow upon you the colour purple. You are going to be a purple dragon. And our dragon was super excited. He had no idea of what colour he would be, or even whether he would like what colour he would be. But when he was told he was going to be a purple dragon, he just felt so happy and incredibly relieved that he had succeeded in the quest. So there we go. There's the story of our dragon. I haven't named this story yet, so it will be in the title. Thank you, Kim, for the prompts for this week. Really appreciate that. And let's, before we go, pull the prompt for the next week. So grab out the wee cards here again. Oh, look, another one of Kim's lists on the top there. I'm going to close my eyes now and I'm kind of going to shuffle. So while I'm shuffling, please do pop down in the comment section, leave me a comment, leave me a list of 5 prompts. It'd be much appreciated. And if you want a chance of being pulled, you need to leave me a comment with some prompts. It's the only way you're going to end up with your prompts being pulled. And then I will create a story based on your prompts if I pull them in a random drawing. So if you want to participate along, you can leave me prompts. That's one way of participating. You can also do the collage. You can come up with a collage for the prompts if you want. You do not have to do a story to go with it. That's my thing. Like, I love coming up with something to combine the prompts, but it's not necessary. You can just do the collage. But if you want to do a story, by all means, go for it. Whether you share that story with anyone else or not, you know, if you come up with a little cute story, funny story, sad story, whatever, go for it. Right. Okay, I've shuffled them pretty much as well as I can, so we're going to go with this top one here. And it is Pam. Okay, so Pam's prompts for next week are kite, boy, tree, picnic, and dog. My goodness, that almost like writes its own story, don't you think? Be interesting to see what I come up with next week. Okay, so that's next week. This is what we did today when I grab it back. Thanks for joining me. Take care, my friends. Have a beautiful weekend, and I will definitely be back on Monday, unless it comes up Tuesday, with the Deal It Up Challenge. I hope you join me for that as well. Bye for now.